Hey, what is going on, you guys? My name is Rage, and we are back today with a Dark Dimension 6 video update for you all. But more specifically, guys, we're going to be talking about, how we did in the global section and regrets, any mistakes I've made in terms of, if I could have gone back, are there characters that I would have changed? So having said that, guys, right now, currently ranked 910. Following the conclusion of my global nodes here, and now we're going to be looking forward to Cosmic. But I also want to showcase for you guys, before I dive into the analysis, the number of attempts that I did take, respectively, for each node. So nodes 3, pretty decent, honestly. 6 attacks, and remember, guys, I am using just a baby Apocalypse getting through it. So I know people have commented on how much of a difference a big Apocalypse versus baby, but I really want to get through this first run with baby Apocalypse, at least then. That way we can see how he can do versus the actual fully unlocked. Also, from a gear resource standpoint, it was just easier for me to leave him as is, to bring up my gear 18 characters while taking advantage of the other horsemen and bringing them up to the apocalyptic stages. So nodes 3, 6 attacks, not too bad, to be honest. I don't remember it being too difficult. As you can see, really the bulk of it coming from that attack 5, 128 million was a really good hit. So it took some time to build up to. Mission 4. I think this one is hands down probably the hardest node I've come across in all Dark Dimension 6 thus far. I've also heard that the global section is actually the worst section out of all the Dark Dimension 6 areas. So, I mean, having said that, I remember Baby Apocalypse probably makes a big difference versus the Big Apocalypse in this node specifically. But I still like the amount of effort I did. As you can see, my most prominent attack actually came in my last and final attack, which was the 157 million damage. But I mean, yeah, it took a multitude of different things. If you guys go back and watch my videos, it just took a lot of setup, taking down certain enemies and key targets to get to that stage as well. And then last but not least, guys, missions 5. Honestly, it 11 attacks. It didn't feel like 11 attacks, probably because I was focusing one enemy at a time. But I mean, you can see here my first attack was pretty notable, 100 million. Attack 2 was 64, and then it got lower and lower because we got into these like multitude of different new warrior waves mixed with Wakandans. It was just really gross, and at that point it became a slugfest where we had to take down, like my attack 9. Look at that, attack 8. We could only take down one enemy at 14 million, 21 million. So that's probably what slowed it down. But having said that, 11 attacks didn't feel like 11 attacks, to be honest. Especially, going through and trying to get the synergies right. It felt pretty smooth, even though it says otherwise here. So overall, like I said, global section, I'm glad I'm past it now, but now we can review the roster I used, which I've shown with the attacks, as well as are there other options I could have gone if I could go back, and obviously at the end of the day talk about that. So first and foremost, guys, Captain America, Black Widow, Nemesis, Captain Carter, Apocalypse. I mean, all rounded, this is a pretty solid team. It is a little heavier, though, keeping in mind on the bio gear as well as mutants, because we do have 2 mutants, 2 bio characters, in addition to Black Widow being the only skilled character. But there's a lot of synergies that I really did like about this team. For example, both Captain America and Black Widow having that wave 1 synergy. I used them initially in the non-trait nodes, and both of them brought a lot of value, especially Black Widow with the speed up, having a natural cleanse for Captain America, having a stun that's available. Captain America, I mean, I can't say enough good things about this character. He is just a solid staple tank. Defense up, energy granting, being able to strip away positive buffs from the enemy, and as well as applying offense down. I mean, out of this mixture, I would say, non-apocalypse wise, I would say Captain America is probably one of the most important pieces of my team. Hence why I wanted to bring in Captain Carter. She can bring him back. She can revive him. She can give buffs, heals. The only downside with Captain Carter's kit was that it really mainly benefited Captain America, and the cool thing was when he was down, she can bring him back with the revive. So I absolutely loved that, but it's too bad because Captain Carter really was is more of a one-trick pony, and really kind of supporting and ensuring Captain America was taken care of. But what I did like about Captain Carter, though, however, was her ultimate, in the sense that it was able to at least cleanse a negative from allies. So you can see she can clear negative effects from herself, but 2 negative effects from all allies. So that was kind of nice. It was like a natural cleanse. Didn't have much of a heal, but with her being ISO 8 healer, there was some regens going around. And then we already know how essential Apocalypse is, right? I'm not going to talk about him because you need to do Dark Dimension 6. Well, Apocalypse, there's not an option. If you don't have Apocalypse, expect 20, 30 plus attacks in that global section. If you don't have Apocalypse, you absolutely need him for Dark Dimension 6. It's just the way it was designed for his capabilities. Surprisingly enough, I actually, like I said, like I would have appreciated a bigger one, but at the end of the day, I don't feel like I was hindered by Baby Apocalypse either. He did a great job, phenomenal, and I love his special because even in his baby form, he can still actually distribute the HP and actually heal our team quite well, and bypassing the heal block as well, and also having some crowd controlling aspects like an ability block, and again with his empowered state to actually focus down taking down key enemies. So those 5 characters honestly did a really great and phenomenal job. I actually love bringing on these 5, and then you round things off with Nemesis, right? Being able to provide significant heals. I mean, his Plasma Meltdown ultimate, although it cost a little bit more with 5 energy, bypass heal block, slow, bleeds. I mean, every time this ability was combined with Apocalypse, it absolutely destroyed the enemy waves. In addition to that, anytime he was low on HP, we just had to activate his basic, right? You know, stealing 5% with the striker, he gets it again. It almost pretty much healed him from you know, down to 5-10% back to full HP because of the way that how these enemies had huge health pools. He got it all back with the basic ability, and same with the special. All his abilities being able to scale, stealing 10%. I mean, I absolutely love this synergy with Nemesis. Unfortunately, he didn't have any team synergies with DevSeed here, but as a standalone character, solid support, solid healing, and being able to apply the slow and bleeds definitely helped in those critical situations. So with those 5 characters, guys, I felt like a really well-rounded roster here that I was utilizing in global. Now, having said that, are there any characters that I would have been able to bring in if I had a chance to go back in time? You know, how did my team do overall if I could make changes back in the day? So, I mean, there are definitely strong mentions for sure, guys. And I'm sure you've seen it from other content creators as well as just from your own experience if you've already been part of it. But, I mean, the most obvious one is Quicksilver. In addition to Spider Weaver. Both these characters are very strong options in the game right now. And for me, the biggest thing was the Mystic gear cost. It's not that I didn't want to invest in Mystic or that I couldn't. As you can see, I actually have more than enough gear to bring Spider Weaver up. It's the fact that I knew that this was going to have an impact for me later on, especially since I wasn't sure about how my Cosmic was going to look in addition to the city nodes, right? And that's kind of the name of the game with Dark Dimension 6. The thing is you can do this with a lot of different teams and synergies, but at the end of the day, I think it's going to be dependent on the gear drops you've gotten so that you can determine ultimately what kind of traits are you willing to sacrifice to go forward with. The downside of, you know, characters like Quicksilver that can apply a boatload of debuffs, and I love the fact that he can bring in a Scarlet Witch for additional protection. I would have honestly really loved to have Quicksilver because I've heard with him, especially with the synergy of Apocalypse and if you have a character like Captain America granting energy and defense up, Quicksilver absolutely tears the global section up. But for him, you know, his gear cost for Mystic is absolutely huge that it could play a factor in stalling your future progression in both Cosmic and in addition to the city nodes. So I mean, in a perfect world, if I had unlimited resources, I think Quicksilver and Spider Weaver definitely would have been good options for myself. Another one to mention here as well is Dr. Doom, a very prominent character. You know, it's funny how, you know, power crap has happened with stats and so forth, but Dr. Doom has still remained a very relevant character, and even right now in the arena, he's part of some synergistic Secret Defenders teams that can add to that variety as well. So, I mean, it's just great to see that there is still love for a character like Dr. Doom being a previous Dark Dimension release character. It really just depends on your gear investment. I like Dr. Doom because of his mix of tech and mystic gear. You could leverage part of that, but the downside with him is that he costs a lot of uniques as well in addition to that. So if you guys haven't noticed, then the common theme with these 3 characters is the fact that they're all mystic, right? And that played a big factor in my decision making. Mind you, I had 2 bio characters. I had 2 mutants utilized in my gear, so I was okay taking that hit. Because if you think about it, with Cosmic especially, there's not that many selection of characters that can outperform that aren't you know, in that mystic or the Cosmic section, and that's kind of part of my reasoning as well. But you'll see later on when I do make a preparation video in regards to the Cosmic section. You know, I think Agatha Harkness, Her energy is just too high. I mean, a lot of folks will probably have her brought up just due to the fact that, you know, most of us needing horsemen to unlock Apocalypse, and she's going to be naturally a pretty obvious option, but her synergy is just not great because of her energy, in addition to the fact that there's not any Darkhold members that you can take advantage of. And so, having said that, it's pretty sad because there's a lot of legendary horsemen here that you can see, right? You know, Braun, we see Sunfire, Dazzler, Gambit. No, I would not recommend any of them. I definitely think Quicksilver, Spider Weaver, Doctor Doom, they would have been very, very good options to have. Even you know, funny enough, Captain Sam, I can definitely see that he would have had some value. Mind you, he's power crept a bit, but it's his kit and the way it's designed with his energy granting speed up. But then afterwards, he's gonna probably fall, and that's kind of why I opted for Captain America, is because with Captain Carter, at least she can bring Captain America back. But other than that, you can also bring in aspects of Rebirth. I mean, you know, Winter Soldier's here, the full Rebirth team is viable, but then you're asking then, you know, that's the huge investment into the bio gear, which you may later on need, especially now that we know Photon is a bio character specifically for the Cosmic section as well. But yeah, those are the strong mentions. I've seen folks bring in Iron Fist World War II. To be honest, I can't comment. I know he gets a lot of value from the invaders and raids, but I mean, honestly, I think his kit's good, but I think he's just really good as a raid character. I don't know if you want to overinvest in Iron Fist World War II. I've heard some folks say he's useless. Some folks have said that he's actually okay. Yeah, at the end of the day, it's what you're comfortable with in gear. I do like the fact that he is skilled, though, along with the majority of these invader characters that are also global. But I mean, I definitely think Iron Fist World War II would be the best one to utilize out of that mix if you guys are thinking about it. And then other than that, I mean, at that point, it's just whatever you want to soak up in terms of the tech, the traits and the gear that you have available. So if I can go back, guys, a perfect team, I would have loved to use Quicksilver and Doctor Doom if that opportunity presented itself. I did notice that with my team, I felt like the damage was definitely really reliant on Nemesis and Apocalypse. So if I could go back, I probably maybe would have swapped Black Widow for Spider Weaver, because they do, you know, they have a very similar kit in terms of providing some sort of crowd controlling aspect. Although I say that, but Black Widow's speed up was really nice too. But Spider Weaver could have protected the team a bit, have the same kind of crowd controlling aspect. Quicksilver was also another option. So I think definitely my next run, we'll see in my second running at Dark Dimension 6 if I have any of these guys ready to go, and hopefully I can show you some reduced attacks on those nodes. But that's kind of how I would change things up in the future, guys. Doctor Doom, you know, definitely a strong option, like I said. But again, we're all thinking about the gear and management of resources, and that's what Dark Dimension 6 is all about. It's making sure that you're treating this like a marathon, and you're not just trying to bring in 5 characters ready to go, because that's going to strap and bottleneck you later on. And I'm trying to keep the train moving with as least downtime as possible while maximizing opportunities to actually get some attempts in. So there you guys have it. That's my review here of the global section. It's been a blast. I'll make sure to provide for you guys my reflections in terms of what I'm planning for Cosmic and the reasoning for that. Thank you as always. Do appreciate you guys joining me on this journey. I love the Dark Dimension modes. It's just so challenging and difficult, but it's always so rewarding as well. Thank you as always, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.